ready?
Mark, please.
Shot one, take two.
And break. And action. Door.
Okay, so I've been asked to do an elevator set lighting, and it's a little bit challenging because normally elevators are very badly lit. They're lit from overhead and it's very unflattering. You get these raccoon eye shadows happening. It's very industrial looking, or it's very harsh lighting from little lights that are inside the elevator itself. So we've had a set designed which will allow us to fly the walls away, and that will help us tremendously in being able to get some lights in overhead, but as well as getting some nice frontal three-quarter lighting to get some good molding and shaping on the faces and some backlight. We don't want to deviate too much from the classical elevator feel because then people don't believe that it is an elevator. So although it is a set, we have to light it as if it's a real thing. Now, in experiences in the past with doing shoots in elevators, it's very, very frustrating because it's a very, very, very cramped area. You're right in the corner and you're trying to get an angle. There's reflections, there's often little glass pieces or mirrors or silver things and reflections all over the place. Notoriously difficult to try and shoot in. Sound is terrible in there as well, it's very echoey. Plus you have to have access to the elevator unlimited for a long period of time. There's no way to plug lights into an elevator, so everything has to be run off battery packs, and that gets frustrating and tiring. It's very difficult to get a lot of crew into a small space. This way we can move around, we've got the studio, we've got a lot more control of the environment night and day, and we don't have to worry about paying anybody to have an elevator. So in doing a bit of research for this, I went online and I did a bunch of checks to see what other elevator scenes have been done. And I looked at movies like Drive, where they had very stylized lighting in that, which I really liked, some really interesting stuff. There's a scene where the guy's in an elevator with the girl and there's another guy that gets in, and Ryan Gosling sees that the guy has a gun, he has a piece on him, and then as soon as he sees that, he puts his arm across the girl, and then the lighting changes and it becomes this whole big showdown where he's about to beat the guy up and protect the girl. There's also a love scene in there, so it's a very stylized thing. It suits that mood of that movie. It's hard to take lighting out of context and then put that into our story where it's only 2 minutes. We don't have the time to set up a whole character arc. It has to be in and itself a set piece, so it can't be too stylized right off the top. I also looked at films like Departed, where Leonardo DiCaprio and Matt Damon are in this elevator. It's very industrial looking, so it wasn't quite the look we wanted. You know, the guys are in sort of suits and ties in this one, and it's supposed to be like a hotel or some kind of a fancy place, bachelor party, so you know, you wouldn't expect an industrial feel. So we wanted something a little bit more upscale. I looked at other things like Veronica Mars, where they have a set that they use quite regularly. That's quite nice, but again, there's a lot of girls and women that get into the elevator, so there are a lot of beauty lights in those. And we have 2 guys in an elevator, one who's extremely drunk, so we don't want to be too flattering with the lighting either. And there's a lot of other things that I looked at just to see, you know, how our angle is done, what looks better, what doesn't look good, what kind of lighting they used, how the backlight is positioned, where the fill light is there a fill light, where's the key light. A lot of things like that, just to try and analyze the best way to do it and to try and make it look unique. You know, you don't want to do something that somebody else has done and look kind of like you're ripping it off. So we're trying to do something unique and fresh.